Hello, my name is Gerard Fluet, and I work with a team that's a collaboration between NJIT and Rutgers. And we basically have designed a home rehabilitation system called the New Jersey New Jersey Institute of Technology Hovers Home Virtual Reality System. And we basically have a project funded through NJAX that looks at the ability of our system to perform remote evaluations of upper extremity motor function in persons with stroke. As I said, our system is a telerehabilitation suite that's designed to allow persons with stroke to perform rehabilitation activities in their homes. Our initial investigations support its ability to support home rehabilitation for persons with stroke. This poster is going to describe our initial attempts to establish the ability of the hover system and the measurements that it collects to accurately measure hand and finger positions. 2, to discriminate between the hand movement of persons with stroke from those of persons without stroke. And 3, to discriminate between the hand movement of persons with severe stroke from the hands movement of persons with milder strokes. At this point, we've collected a little under 40% of our data. We've got 10 healthy volunteers aged 28 to 63 so far, and we've also done our data collection with the first couple people with strokes. One, a younger man with a mild stroke, and the other, an older man with a moderate stroke. All right. The measurements that we look at basically kind of follow two general classes: hand opening range of motion, or range of motion measurements. We're looking at hand opening for one. It's our infrared camera, the Leap Motion camera, is measuring the ability of a person's hand to open and close by looking at finger angles. The other class of tasks that we're looking for is hand opening, or is error. So essentially we have the patients tracing a sine wave, moving a cursor by some movement that's picked up by the Leap Motion camera in our system, and have them tracing a wave. We're looking at the error, the root mean square error of the cursor position and the wave that they're supposed to be tracing. Besides the hand opening movements that we're looking at examining, we also look at wrist flexion and extension, so essentially moving in a pitch plane. We do range of motion, so as far as the patient can extend their wrist and as far as they can flex it down for one measurement, and the tracing task I described before. And finally, hand roll range is the third, so moving the hand in a roll plane, pronating and supinating, looking at their range of motion, and then controlling the cursor with pronation and supination movements in the tracing movement that I talked about before. The setups that we're using, we're comparing the measurements collected with the hover system. You can actually see the Leap Motion camera, which is the infrared camera that the hover system employs, all right, and performing movements in an array of OptiTrack cameras. So it's basically active marker motion capture used by the film industry, besides the people that are measuring kinematics for a living. And we're comparing the measurements collected with the the active marker camera system to our infrared camera, collecting the same information at the same time without markers. So that's one set of measurements we're doing. The other are the tracing tasks that I showed you. The target, that you see here is in black. The OptiTrack measurements, so these markers are basically looking at the same thing in red. That's the red line of the patient attempting to do this tracing task. The green line, all right, is basically the movement that the Leap Motion camera is collecting at the same time. The task, as they're doing the task, it looks a bit like this. There's your patient's hand, there's your Leap Motion camera. There, the sine wave is basically on a laptop, and this is the task that they're doing. If you'd like to see how this came out, please feel free to visit my poster. Thank you very much.